com. Got a list? Time to put it in order.
Fred Dwumfor's house. Top five meals that I have ever had.
This is Ranked.
To be honest, their list was really biased.
Brought to you by Carter Volkswagen. Every morning at 9:45 on the Mike Salk Show.
That top 10 list, I'm not buying that.
Ranked.
That Earl Thomas sound cracks me up every time. That list is kind of biased. All right, Matt Hasselbeck does this every Wednesday. We ask him to rank something. Perhaps as you were watching the Green Bay game this weekend, you saw the Seahawks attempt a flea flicker. I say attempt because it didn't go well. I almost thought it was supposed to be like a flea flicker screen. It was just a total mess of a play, lost a few yards. Matt, with that in mind, because trick plays are fun, we thought we would ask you to rank your 5 best trick plays you were part of in your career.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, that was man coverage. It's a good play versus zone coverage. That was a bad luck. Bad execution. Probably should get out of the play. But we didn't run a lot of trick plays when I was in Seattle, and I think it's because Mike Holmgren's very first play in Seattle, John Kitna was the quarterback. He got talked into calling a flea flicker, make a splash, and it was like an 8-yard sack, 2nd and 18. Not how you want to start things out. So we had to pay the price for the sins of that 1999 team a little bit. So I got to take my first one, my number 5, to a fake field goal that I ran when I was with the Green Bay Packers. We're playing Monday Night Football against the Minnesota Vikings, Randy Moss. But what's kind of crazy about this story is, you practice these plays, they never get in. And I knew that this was a touchdown. I knew it. I'm the holder. Brett Favre's the starting quarterback. So I tell the special teams coach, I'm like, hey, Ray Rhodes is our head coach. I'm like, hey, coach, Ray said he wants to run the fake field goal the first time we get a chance in the second half. He's like, oh, okay, Ray said that? Yeah, Ray said that. And then I go to Ray, and I go, hey, Ray, Steve, the special teams coach, he said, hey, he would love to run the fake field goal the first time we get a chance. And he's like, really? Is it there? You promised me it's going to work? I'm like, yeah, that's what he says. I think it's going to work, too. He's like, all right. So I played mom and dad against each other to get this play called, and that's how I threw my very first touchdown pass in the NFL, and it went perfectly. I screwed up the end zone celebration, but other than that, it was a great way to get your first touchdown pass on a fake field goal.
Hasselbeck to put it down, a fake. Hasselbeck's a quarterback. He throws. It is caught by Thomason for the touchdown. And that's one of the huge benefits of having a holder as your backup quarterback, a guy who knows.
Yeah, you're right. That touchdown celebration did not go very well.
What was it? What'd you do?
I jumped up to jump on the pile. The pile moved. I fell right on my face. I'm impressed you guys found that because we didn't talk about this beforehand. That was
crack squad
really good
you
of
got here.
All right. Yeah, so Al Michaels and Chris
Michaels.
Collinsworth were making fun of me. Yeah, that was tough. And that was Jeff Thompson, Oregon Duck. All right, number 4, another fake field goal, also on Monday Night Football the next year. Maybe 2 years later, I forget the year. We're down at Tampa, and when you run a fake field goal, you got one guy in a deep corner, and then you got another guy shallow in the flat. Well, I come out of my fake, and I've got this offensive lineman, Mike Wall, who ended up being a Seahawk later on. I throw him the ball. I lob it up to him. It's right there. Well, the guy shallow was this guy tight end, Bubba Franks from the University of Miami, and he's like, oh, I can get to that ball. He runs and literally intercepts this ball from Mike Wall. I wasn't even throwing it to him. I'm throwing this ball to Mike Wall, the offensive lineman, and Bubba Franks comes out and basically intercepts it. And luckily, the offensive lineman had the offensive lineman mentality, I'm just here not to screw it up. So he let him have it. But it very easily could have been two guys colliding, and he scores a touchdown. But again, so my second touchdown in the NFL wasn't even thrown into that guy. And, unbelievable.
Most teams don't have their quarterbacks in there, their backup quarterbacks in there anymore for the holder. They're all going with the punter.
Ever since Tony Romo.
Right.
I think that the real switch has happened there. And then also it gives the punter something to do at practice when he's not punting.
Still, it seems like you're missing an opportunity for these fake, the Tom Tupas of the world don't exist anymore, guys who are punters / second or third string quarterbacks.
But you also see what happens, if your quarterback, misses some, Dak Prescott hurts his calf, or, whoever the Daniel Jones has a concussion.
Where you're going to throw the guy in there.
Yeah, so they like the consistency of long snapper, holder, kicker.
All right, number 3. Best
number
trick
3.
plays of your career.
I don't know if this really totally counts as a trick play, but this is an NFC Championship game, Seneca Wallace on a slant and go on our former teammate Ken Lucas. So when Ken Lucas was with the Seahawks, he said, hey, man, teach me something. Like, can I spend some time with you? He's a DB. I said, sure, let me teach you something. I showed him something in our offense where if we ever got into a 3-by-1 bunch set and we had a special wide receiver that wasn't always over there by himself, all we would ever do is run a slant or a go route. So like all you had to do is know those 2 routes and you could take advantage of it. So me remembering that he and I had this conversation and seen him make plays, we kind of talked to the coaches. They decided to put Seneca Wallace in that spot, same exact formation, and he starts on the slant because we are the ones who taught him this. And then it was a slant and go, and he catches it on Ken Lucas, who's a Pro Bowl corner at the time. Seneca's not even a wide receiver, but we sort of took our own knowledge of our old teammate and put it into really the NFC Championship game, which was just like a huge play for us. So that was super great.
Did you talk to him afterwards?
No, he immediately got up to Seneca Wallace. He was like, I knew it. I should have known it. It was too good to be true. That's just, it was an awesome feeling.
That's funny.
All right, number 2. Another trick play to Seneca Wallace. This was kind of in the Jim Mora years, okay? We did this play where it's basically I line up at wide receiver, and Seneca, he's a quarterback. He throws me the ball. I look downfield, and then I throw the ball back to him, and then he runs it. Well, Seneca's coaching with the Dallas Cowboys last year, and we're talking one night. He's like, yeah, I'm looking for a trick play. Coach said I could put a trick play in. I'm like, hey, put this play in. So I say, hey, put this play back in. Teams around the league are running this play again because it kind of got revitalized because Seneca once ran it with Greg Knapp and Jim Mora, and it was this cool play. And it's essentially the quarterback goes. So you'll see a lot of plays, I think maybe 2 weeks ago especially, where it's like a double pass. The quarterback throws it to another guy who's the quarterback who throws it back. And I kind of think it's because Seneca Wallace, who isn't even coaching in the NFL anymore, but he kind of brought this back. So that was kind of cool to see.
What is it like when that gets written up during the week? Who does the offensive coordinator's like, I got a fun idea?
No, so usually it's a coach gets assigned special plays, trick plays, specials. Cool. Who's the is it Keith Gilbertson? Keith Gilbertson was a UW coach for a long time, and Mike Holmgren hired him as sort of a consultant type thing, and he was in charge of our specials. So you scour high school football, college football, old NFL football, and you come up with fun two-point plays, flea flickers, that kind of stuff.
I wonder if Tater does that for Pete now. It seems like something he'd be in charge of.
That's something he would be excellent at.
Yeah,
I would say.
All right, the number one best trick play you've been involved with.
Well, it's the worst, actually. It's the worst trick play. So when at the end of my career, I was with the Indianapolis Colts. We're playing the New England Patriots, and you guys have maybe seen it, the worst fake punt that's ever been run.
Oh, yeah.
The Colts had a center and a quarterback and then nothing else. It wasn't supposed to be a play. Okay, we had the quarterback was this guy from Montana, Colt Anderson, who's a real smart player, and the center was supposed to be this guy from Stanford. Well, a couple plays before, we're just trying to catch the Patriots with 12 men on the field and get a first down. There is no real play. Okay, well, basically what happens is the guy that we were supposed to have in the game gets hurt right before, and we had our punt returner our backup for it was this guy from Stanford also, Griff Whalen. Very, very smart guy. So they have the three smartest people they can find on special teams to operate this play. Well, here's something in the NFL. There's all this terminology on defense, there's terminology on offense, and there's terminology on special teams. And the three, the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force, they don't talk to each other. So there's one word on offense. We'll say the word was aloha. If you ever say aloha, that means all bets are off. You're snapping the ball the next thing you say. Aloha, aloha. So we're just trying to trick them. Special teams comes up there. This replacement doesn't know because he's normally our punt returner at practice. He doesn't know. He gets up there and he hears aloha, aloha. Set up, and then he snaps the ball. And the guy he snaps the ball to, he's like, what on earth are you doing? So, this was a self-inflicted wound. A great idea. Should have worked. You only snap it if they have 12 guys on the field. And, again, the Army wasn't talking to the Navy, wasn't talking to the Air Force. And that's and now it's just this thing on your resume. It's one of the most embarrassing.
That play has its own Wikipedia page, by the way. It's called the Colts Catastrophe, I believe.
Yeah. So the word wasn't aloha, but I didn't want to give away all the
No,
secrets
that's
because those people are still coaching. But,
How about the Philly running that Philly special in the Super Bowl? That was pretty awesome. In terms of
that's
trick
probably
plays.
Listen. I wasn't involved in that, but I
Right.
know Nick Foles well, and I know Doug Peterson well, and the courage that it takes. Because I can't tell you how many times a game has ended. We've had trick plays that we had practiced, but no one had the courage to call them. The Philly special, to me, is the greatest trick play of all time, bar none, because of when it happened, what it was, and now how everyone in high school football, college football, and pro football has continued to copy the play.
Yeah, the other one that comes close was Chris Peterson when he was at Boise State, ran the Statue of Liberty in the bowl game, right? But I guess maybe bowl games don't really matter that much.
No, that listen, if you're talking college football, that was incredible.
That was awesome.
Like that was an incredible call. Again, the courage to do it is almost as difficult as the creativity that it takes to come up with it.
While when you're done playing 500 and then you get a little like two-hand touch going on when you're in 5th grade, Statue of Liberty, big play call.
I'm more of a Philly special guy myself, but because quarterbacks, they like to catch touchdowns.
Of course they do. Did you ever catch a pass in the NFL?
It's a good question. I don't think so.
All right. You played with Andrew Luck. He could catch a ball. I saw him do it at Stanford a few times.
Great athlete.
All right, we got to go. We got people hanging on. They want to get ready for Jake and Stacy. They're popping in next. Matt will be back next Wednesday at 9 o'clock. Matt, looking forward.